What is going on YouTube? To Be Honest Disc Golf coming back at you, and today my plans actually changed quite a bit. I was supposed to be at a tournament in Belmont put on by Hazy Shade. It was the Spring Sling tournament. It's kind of hard to say, but it was canceled due to the weather, the rain. It's been raining like crazy for like the past 3 or 4 days here in Ohio, so it's completely flooded, and it would have been raining all day today. But that also opened up something kind of cool for me this next weekend. I'm actually able to play the Long Live Hoover tournament put on by Tom West at Hoover, which is great because that course is going to be closed for a good, like the rumor is 4 years or so as they redo the dam. And if you're from Ohio at all, you know that that course is a pretty sweet course and it's going to kind of stink while it's down. So while it stinks that that tournament was canceled, it kind of opened up the doors for me to play another one that I actually really wanted to play, and Tom always puts on a great tournament. So anyways, why are we here today then? Today I want to talk about flight numbers. Alright, so I've got a couple discs here for examples of flight numbers. So I know if you've been playing disc golf for a while, this probably isn't anything new to you, but this is more for people that are kind of getting into disc golf, or if they need like a refresher, or if they don't quite 100% understand what the flight numbers are. But basically, every disc has these flight numbers here. They're different depending on what kind of disc it is. Normally it's only 4 numbers. I say normally because at the end here I'll show you an example of one that actually has 5, which is kind of a little bit weird. But anyways, there's 4 numbers. The first number is speed. The second number is glide. The third number is your turn. The fourth number is your fade. So, what am I talking about here? So speed. Speed basically is how much force that disc needs to be thrown with to act the way that it technically should, or basically the higher the speed, the thinner your disc is going to be and more aerodynamic and want to slice through the wind. So for example, this disc here is a destroyer. Everybody knows destroyers if you've been playing disc golf, but it's a driver and its first number is 12. So if you notice, the profile of this disc is pretty thin this way. And here, this rim is a bit wider, making it a little bit easier to grip. And basically the idea is that this disc, you need to throw it hard and that it should go far. It should probably be one of your farthest throwing discs if you have enough arm speed. So here's another example of a speed disc, of speed on a disc though. This is the uplink. You may or may not know this disc, but the speed on this is a 5, so it's a mid-range. If you look at that, how it's shaped, it's definitely a little bit thicker. And it's kind of thicker as well here, like tall. So basically, this disc is going to kind of want to stay in the air a little bit longer, maybe be a little bit more lofty, kind of. Won't necessarily go as far as a 12 speed, or probably not as far as a 12 speed. You don't necessarily have to throw this disc all that hard to get the reaction that you really want out of this disc either, as you would a destroyer. Third example, I just wanted to kind of give you kind of differences here, is a glitch. As you can see, kind of thicker here, thicker than these two, taller if you will. The rim is like very thin this way, and this is a 1 speed. So this disc, really, you just barely throw that sucker out there and it does its thing. So very different discs, driver, mid-range, putter, approach disc, or whatever you want to call this. I don't know, kind of a gimmicky disc, but that's the difference in speed. When these discs are thrown the way that they're technically supposed to be thrown, the destroyer should go the furthest, the uplink should go the second furthest, and the glitch should go the shortest. On to the second number on the disc. This is glide. That's referring to how long that disc wants to stay in the air. Basically, you just throw that sucker out there, and is it going to want to go slam down to the ground like a berg, or is it going to want to stay floating in the air like, trying to think of a disc that has a really high glide. Well, an uplink, for example, has a higher glide than a berg, for example. So this disc is going to want to float and stay in the air longer than a berg. But basically, an uplink has a glide number of 5. Oddly enough, the destroyer has a glide number of 5. Oh, and I'm an idiot. I had this set aside for this reason. The glitch has a glide number of 7. So this sucker, man, you just barely throw it. It just wants to just float in there, just stay floating, 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 floating forever. All right, what's the third number? Like we talked about previously, the third number is turn. So turn basically is how much this disc wants to do the opposite of what really, of fading, of what you think it would do. So basically, if you're throwing a disc right hand, backhand, you throw it like this, the turn is referring to how much this disc is going to go like this and flip up and go to the right. So the higher the number, the more turn that disc is going to have. So again, let's talk about these 3 disc examples. This is the destroyer. This has a turn of -1. So this is going to want to turn just a little bit, maybe flip to flat maybe, and then do its thing. The uplink, the turn is a -3, indicating that this is way more of an understable disc. So you throw this disc like this or flat, and it's going to go to the right for sure quite a bit. Or if you throw like this, it's gonna flip up, and it's gonna do the opposite of the natural fade of a disc. And then again, just for simplicity reasons and comparing all these 3 discs, here's the glitch. The glitch has a 0 turn, so basically glitch is just gonna just go straight, just float straight. The final number is fade. Fade is referring to once this disc kind of loses its energy or kind of starts to slow down, how much is just going to come crashing down to the ground to the left if you're throwing it on a right backhand, or if you're flicking it, how much is going to come crashing down to the right. So the higher the number, the more it's going to fade at the end of the disc. So the destroyer has a 3 fade. So basically, once this disc gets to the end of its flight, it just comes crashing way down to the left. The uplink has a 0.5 fade. So basically, this thing's not coming back down to the left. So if you throw this thing on flat, this thing's going to go to the right and just stay floating to the right pretty much. Glitch, 0. So basically, throw this thing on straight, it's just going to go straight. If you throw this on Anheuser, it's going to stay floating on Anheuser the whole entire way. If you throw this on Heiser, it's going to stay on Heiser the whole entire way and just stay on whatever line you put it on. So one thing I do want to say is that these numbers are extremely subjective. The manufacturers basically just make up their own numbers. There's no real science to it. Sometimes manufacturers even release discs and have people throw them and tell them what numbers they think their discs are. So it's important to note that if you're comparing brands, like if you're comparing Discraft or Innova to MVP, that, their numbers may, a 12, 5, -1, 3 destroyer may throw way different than MVP's equivalent to this that has the same numbers. So it's very important to note that really the only way to truly tell how a disc is going to throw is to throw it yourself. Because also another thing to note is different plastics also make the disc perform different. Some companies adjust for this. MVP usually tries to adjust for the stabilities and the plastics and everything, so that, if you're getting a disc in neutron plastic versus fission plastic, the numbers might differ, which is cool. I mean, they try to do their best to let you know what you're actually getting or what to expect. So, as I stated at the beginning, there is a 5th number, or there is a weird number on some discs. So Discraft, I don't know if you can see this because this disc is kind of like shiny, but Discraft here, they have a 5th number. So much like I was saying, manufacturers just make up whatever numbers they want and whatever numbers those equate to. Discraft throws their own 5th number in there that no other manufacturer even has. So for this drive, it has a 1.6. And I believe that the higher the number, the more stable they're talking about this disc being. And when I refer to stable or overstable, that's just basically like we were talking about the fade, basically. So how at the end of its flight, it's just going to come crashing down to the left if you're on a backhand, or crashing down to the right if you're on a forehand. So hope this kind of helped people. like I said, if you've been playing disc golf for a while, probably not the most riveting explanation, and who knows, you might even have something to add or something that you feel that maybe I was wrong about or want to correct me or whatever. Completely cool. Please comment below. Let me know. This is purely information. You know, I play disc golf with a church group, and we often have new people coming out with us. And my goal is to get more and more people into the sport of disc golf. And a lot of times they're looking for information and they just don't know where to find it. And I would be completely cool to be that person to help them with that information. So, anyways, you know, please keep an eye out for future videos. Hopefully this weather breaks a little bit so that I can start having some more throwing videos and comparison videos and things like that. But anyways, comment below if you got anything to say about flight numbers, or if I didn't hit on something, or if you feel like you could explain it better or something like that. I have no problem with that. So anyways, always like, subscribe, share, comment. Please help me out. If you see me out and about, I got some kind of cool, you know, shirts and stuff now, so I'm trying to kind of spread the word a little bit and have things that people would actually want to wear. So anyways, catch you on the course.
Who be on this disc golf, baby?